Hi everyone, Nicole Hanna here from Nicole Hanna Jewelry and YouTube's Go Art Yourself. I've recently been asking a few people what kind of videos they would like for me to share, and several people suggested something that covers how to maintain tension when you're wire wrapping. And so I thought I would share that with you here today. Just a short little video. Excuse my fingers, they are not in good shape. So basically what I have here is a piece that I've started. This focal is by Darcy York, an amazing lampwork piece. So I've started some weaves here, as you can see, and I'm just going to show you how I handle my weaving wire. Now, a lot of people tend to pull when they're wrapping, which, depending on the size of your wires, you really can't do. The size of these, the weaving wire and the base wire, are so close together. So if I pull too much, what's going to end up happening is I'm going to end up pulling the whole weave, which you don't want to do. So what I like to do is really just lay the wire over like that. And so I keep it real loose, and then I use my finger to push, and it's like I'm rolling it as I'm doing it. So that creates a nice tight wrap without actually pulling. So let me see if I can get this closer. See how I use my finger to get it nice and close. I keep it loose initially, and then I push it in with my finger, which explains why my nails are in really bad shape. So that's basically how I handle tension on a piece, is I just constantly roll with my finger. So you just lay the wire, then roll. Lay the wire, roll. And that's basically it. If you keep a nice rhythm going, eventually you find a speed that works with you and with the materials that you're using. This isn't always necessary, especially if your base wires here are larger. This is a 22 gauge and this is a 28 gauge, so they're pretty close in size. But if you're using something like an 18 gauge, you know, pulling on it, it's not going to really can get out of shape. So you don't have to worry about it quite so much with gauge of wires that are further apart. But in this case, they're pretty similar, so I do have to hold it very close to the area that I'm working on, and that stabilizes the base wires, kind of keeps them from being pulled out of shape. And then I wrap, I lay, and roll. Lay, roll. And you can't always see it when I start to build up a little speed, but essentially the movement is the same each time. Lay the wire and then use my fingertip. And really that's all there is to it, to keeping the tension. I'm constantly moving my fingers so that they're right next to the section that I'm working on. If you start to hold it way back here and do it, you risk really bending things out of shape. See how it kind of turns the whole thing if you're not there controlling it. So this is how I handle the tension. And if it gets a little too hard to hold, I have a pretty strong grip in my fingers. If it gets a little too hard to hold, you can use a wooden ring clamp, or even an industrial clamp from a hardware store like Lowe's or Home Depot or something like that. Works as well. I tend to find that the handles of those kinds of things get in the way when I'm trying to work a weave, especially if it's a small weave or if I'm bending something in a tight area. I don't want clamps to get in the way, so I've just learned to adjust my grip to keep it as tight as possible, while not injuring my hands in the process. And eventually you just build up that kind of strength. All right, well, that's it. Talking about tension when wire weaving, and I'll see you next time.